and the behaviors are dysfunctional as well, but we think it's normal living in the city of brotherly love, baby. I want to talk about 5 different types of abuse.
Child, we need to talk.
Hi, my lovelies. It's your girl, Shy. You already know. Thank you so much for chiming in with me today, because, child, we need to talk. I want to talk about 5 different types of abuse, and I would like to dive in a little deep into each one of those forms of abuse, because a lot of us don't know that we're being abused. Honey, 1 second. I need my cream of wheat. I don't want it to get too cold. A lot of us go through abuse, and we go through it and stay in it because we don't know that it's abuse. I come from the hood. I come from Philadelphia. Toxic traits is a lot of toxic behaviors that are counted as normal, and the behaviors are dysfunctional as well, but we think it's normal living in the city of brotherly love, baby. I travel a lot, and I've gotten to get a sense of what normal is and what normal means. I'm not saying anybody is wrong living in Philadelphia. Trust me, child, I understand. But what I do want everybody to understand is, if you go travel and get around in different communities and meet different people, you will kind of see what it's really supposed to be like and what's not normal and what's normal. You'll look at your upbringing and start to get revelations from that upbringing, and knowing that a lot of the PTSD that we have today stems from our childhood. I want to get into these 5 different types of abuse so that we can be more aware if we're being abused or if we're abusing other people, because you can also be the abuser and not know it. So, honey, let's get into these 5 types of abuse. First type of abuse is being physical. Physical abuse is obviously abuse when you're hitting somebody, when you're using your fist, you're using something to abuse somebody else's body. This is where you violate the person's being. You violate the person's being by doing all of these different types of abuse, but physical abuse is when you're actually physically harming the person's body. That's my definition of physical abuse. This looks like the husband or the man comes home from work and the wife doesn't have dinner prepared, and he assumes that she has not been doing anything all day. And so he beats her, he hits her, he abuses her. Choking is a form of abuse. Anything physical, that's physical abuse. Even if you throw like a chair at somebody, if you punch them in their eye, if you hit them with like a PlayStation 4 or something like that, that's physical abuse. And physical abuse is actually the one that's mostly reported. It's usually physical and sexual, but let's get into sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is another form of abuse. It is when someone is sexually violated. When someone is under 18 years old and they are having sex with someone who is over 18, that, what is that called? I'm trying to think of that word. That is I'm trying to figure out what that is called. That's called it's a form of abuse because the teenager is not yet an adult, which is technically 18 years old. But sexual abuse is also when you rape somebody, when you molest somebody, even when you say a sexual phrase or use sexual words to a person, they don't want the sexual words. That is called sexual abuse as well. And you can be held accountable for those actions. So, all right, that was criminal wheels. I made it 2 days ago. I was supposed to eat it yesterday, but now I'm eating it today. Physical abuse is all physical, like harming the person's body. Sexual abuse is when you are violating the person's body again, but you are doing it in an intimate way. You are going against, them not wanting that sexual attention. Any type of sex that's not consented, and also person not being 18 and messing with somebody over the age of 18, that is, I still can't even figure out the word. If anybody come up, I'm like, my brain right now is too early in the morning, so let me know what it is in the comments. Another form is mental abuse. You can mentally abuse somebody by just constantly putting them in a hostile environment. You're always yelling at them. You're gaslighting them. You're making them feel like they're going crazy. You constantly tormenting this person. You're calling them names. Mental abuse, I guess that could be verbal abuse as well. Well, I don't know. I guess it's really six. Okay, it's 7 different types. I guess it's a lot of different forms of abuse. But I'm going to go over these 5, okay? Mental abuse is when you are tormenting somebody mentally. Let's just put it in that way. These are my own personal definitions of these different forms of abuse. So if you really want to get real technical, you can go to Google and ask Google what these abuses are, okay? But if you want to hear my version, continue and watch. The next type of abuse is financial abuse. Now, this comes when you are really like in a marriage, but also you can be financially abused when someone has like the authority to, like, your power of attorney, or like if they have the authority to pay you, or stop your funds. So, for example, you can be in a relationship and let's say you're pregnant and you stop working because you are about to give birth. Now you start to become abused, and now you need to escape, a doorway out of this relationship, because it's an abusive relationship. So what does the abuser do? He stops giving you money. He stops giving you things that will take care of you and provide for you, and knowing he has to do that because you can no longer work. So that's a form of financial abuse. And if you're stealing somebody's money, if someone is stealing your money, that's a form of financial abuse. You're abusing them financially. When you lose money, it always hurts, honey. So you know how they say, hit them in the pockets, hit them where it hurts. So don't hit them at all, honey. It ain't worth it. So that's the 4th form of abuse. And the 5th form of abuse that I'm going to talk about is actually neglect. Neglect could be abandonment. Neglect could be a form of neglect. You're just avoiding your responsibilities, especially towards this person. Or you can be in a mother-child relationship, and the child is now being abandoned and neglected because the mother is too focused on what's going on in her own life. Very selfish. Let's say you have an elder person in the household, your mom or your grandma or your grandpa, or somebody that's just disabled and they're in your care. You are not fulfilling their duties. You're not cleaning up their bodies. You're not making sure they're in a comfortable and safe environment. That's what neglect is. And I have abandonment down here as well. Abandonment is very different from neglect. Abandonment is when you literally leave things and you just go a different direction. Neglect is when you choose not to do certain things. So that's the difference between abandonment and neglect. And you can also be self-neglecting as well, but that's another video for another time, because that comes with a lot. That comes with like depression and other mental health issues. From Jeremiah 29:11. I believe my husband read this to me. You raised the dead. You gave me life. You paid my debt. You saved my soul. Oh, praise the Lord. So if you've ever been through any type of abuse, and if you have ever been the abuser, I want you to check out my podcast on anchor.fm/chiming with Shy, or you can go on Podcast Apple or Spotify. My podcast is called the Lifestyle Detox Podcast. Just search in the Lifestyle Detox Podcast and go to the series where I do a letter to my abuser, and you can listen to that series over and over and over again. It's very motivating, it's very empowering, and I empower you to move on from whatever position you're in, whether you're the abuser or if you have the victim mentality. I want you to become a survivor and an overcomer of both, because I've been in both situations. Like I said, you can be the abuser and not know it. You can also be abused and not know it. So once you get the information, it's your job to pass it on to the next person. It's my job to pass it on to the next person, and I exhort myself to it. So God bless you all, my lovelies. Thank you so much for chiming in with me today. And I want to talk about some ways we can notice our God-sent husbands, and to notice if we are ready for them or not. And if we're not ready, I'm going to give you some ways you can know you're ready. All right. God bless you, my lovelies. I'll see you.
I hope you enjoyed that Empower Me session. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. God bless you.